Maybe your parents told you, owning a home is the only way to succeed.
But times have changed. Millennials, Gen Z, even baby boomers are now asking, why buy when renting gives freedom, less stress, and more cash to live life?
In this episode, we dive into real stories, real math, and the emotional pressure behind the old American dream so you can decide what really builds your future.
Subscribe, ring the bell, and drop your favorite recipe below.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, today we're really digging into something huge. That whole American dream thing. The house, the yard, the white picket fence.
Yeah, the cornerstone of stability, right?
Yeah.
Or at least that's what we've always been told.
Exactly. For generations, owning a home wasn't just like a good move. It was the move, the sign you'd made it.
Yeah.
Financial security, wealth building, all that.
That narrative was strong.
Yeah.
Super strong.
Hmm?
But let's be real. The ground has shifted dramatically. For a lot of people now, especially younger folks, millennials, Gen Z, pursuing that dream in 2024, 2025.
Sub up, bell on, and vibe with me to the end.
It's becoming financially punishing.
Punishing is a good word for it. So our mission today, cut through the noise, the emotion, the pressure from family maybe, the nostalgia, and just look at the cold, hard math.
Yeah.
Why choosing not to buy right now and actually renting strategically might be, well, the smartest thing you could do with your money.
Let's start with the elephant in the room. Affordability.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe unaffordability.
Yeah, it's not just a feeling. The data is kind of brutal. We checked the mid-2025 numbers. The median price for an existing home, it's hovering around a record like $435,300.
Oof. And that number's tough enough, but then you layer on the mortgage rates. We're not talking about those crazy low 3% rates from back in, 2021?
It feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
It really does. Now, the 30-year fixed is stubbornly sitting around 6, maybe 7%, sometimes higher, depending on your situation.
So what does that actually mean for someone's wallet?
It means your monthly payment explodes. Even if you could technically swing the down payment on that median house, the actual mortgage payment, plus taxes, plus insurance, it's just out of reach for so many.
Yeah.
It's a massive barrier. And that's why we're seeing this serious rethinking, Is buying always better?
Okay, let's unpack that rethinking. You mentioned something before we started recording about how we even think about a house, asset versus liability.
Subscribe, ring the bell, and leave me a comment to it. I read them all.
Right. This is key. Most people assume their home is their biggest asset. But some financial thinkers, Kiyosaki, for example, argue your primary residence. It's actually a liability.
How so? Because it doesn't make you money.
Exactly.
Quick favor, hit subscribe, turn on the bell, smash like, leave a comment, and stick around for more.
A true asset, like a rental property you own or a stock that pays dividends, puts money into your pocket, your own home. It mostly just takes money out, month after month. Think mortgage interest, property taxes, insurance, repairs.
Ah, the dreaded PITI. Principal, interest, taxes, insurance. That alone is stressful enough.
It is. But that's just the cover charge, really. The real killer can be the hidden costs. The stuff people, especially first-time buyers, just don't budget enough for.
The Trojan horse costs, you call them?
Yep. They sneak up on you. Closing costs, for one. That can easily be 2 to 5% of the home's value. Just poof, gone at signing.
Thousands of dollars right off the bat.
Easily. But the real black hole, the ongoing one, maintenance and repairs, this is where budgets go to die.
People talk about the 1% rule, right?
Yeah, and that's often the bare minimum. Set aside 1% to maybe 3% of the home's value every year, just for upkeep. So on that median $430,000 house.
Okay, do the math for us.
At 1%, that's $4,300 a year. About $360 a month.
Yeah.
Just for stuff breaking or wearing out.
Okay.
Now add property taxes, which vary wildly but are never fun, and add home insurance. Get this. Home insurance costs nationally have jumped something like 57% just between 2019 and 2024.
57%?
Yeah, especially brutal in places like Florida, California, Texas. Climate risks, rebuilding costs. It's a perfect storm. So between minimum maintenance taxes and that soaring insurance, you could easily be looking at, close to $1,000 a month on top of your actual mortgage payment.
Wow. Okay, let's make this real. Imagine you're renting a place. It's August, it's 90 degrees, and the AC unit just gives up. What happens?
You sweat for a bit. Then you call your landlord or property manager. Annoying, yes, but financially, it's their problem. That stress, that potential cost, it's not on you.
Right. Now flip it. You own that house. AC dies. What now?
Now you're frantically getting quotes, realizing it might be a $10,000 fix. Or maybe it's not the AC, maybe it's a leak you ignored, and now you need a new roof, 15, 20 grand. That sudden massive expense, that anxiety, it's all yours.
Plus the mental load of just managing it all, finding contractors, making sure it's done right.
It's like a part-time job you didn't sign up for. And we haven't even mentioned HOA fees. If you're in a condo or a managed community, tack on another few $100 a month, mandatory for, well, sometimes it's hard to tell what.
Okay, that paints a pretty stressful picture. Which leads perfectly into the main financial argument for renting strategically, the opportunity cost. If you don't sink, say, 100 grand into a down payment, what else could you do with that money?
You invest it. Simple as that. This is the core question. Where does your capital work hardest for you? Locked up as equity in one single illiquid asset, your house.
Right.
Or put into diversified, potentially higher growth investments that you can actually access.
And the historical data here is, it's pretty eye-opening.
It really is. And people often miss this. If you look long-term, say from 1890 to 2016, and adjust for inflation, the real annual return on U.S. housing appreciation was tiny, like 0.4%.
0.4%, less than 0.5% per year after inflation.
Yep, barely keeping pace with inflation, essentially. Now, compare that to the U.S. stock market. A simple, diversified S&P 500 index fund has historically returned, again adjusted for inflation, somewhere around 6 to 7% annually.
Hold on, 0.4 versus 6 or 7, it's not even close. Over 30 years, the difference in wealth growth is astronomical.
Exponentially different. Your house equity might feel good, but historically it hasn't been the wealth-building engine many assume compared to the market. So that $100,000 down payment, instead of locking it away.
You could put it in index funds, ETFs, maybe even REITs if you still want real estate exposure.
Precisely. And critically, that money stays liquid. Need $50 for an emergency, or a great business opportunity pops up. Selling some index funds takes, what, a day? Maybe less? Try getting $50 out of your home equity quickly or cheaply. It involves loans, appraisals, fees, time.
Right. HELOCs or cash out refis aren't instant or free.
Not at all. So the wealth builder renter, invest that down payment and ideally invest the monthly savings too, the difference between their rent and what the total cost of owning would have been. That's the strategy.
Okay, but it's not just about the numbers, is it? There's a big cultural shift happening too, especially with younger generations.
Absolutely. Millennials and Gen Z, they often define success differently. It's less about being tied down to one place with a 30-year anchor, mortgage.
Flexibility is key.
Huge. They value experiences, mobility, the freedom to chase a better job offer. Maybe move from a high-cost city like San Francisco to somewhere more affordable like Austin, or vice versa if the opportunity is right. They might want to live in 3 different cities in 5 years.
That's that geographical arbitrage idea, right? Move where the jobs are good and the living is, well, maybe cheaper or just better for you at that time. Owning makes that really hard.
Very hard. Selling a house is expensive and time-consuming. If you're, say, a software engineer getting amazing offers across the country, being locked into a mortgage for the first few years where you might not even build much equity after costs.
Yeah.
That freedom to move is arguably worth more financially.
I saw a stat, something like 59% of Gen Z see renting as a potentially viable long-term choice now, not just a temporary thing you do before buying.
That sounds right. It's a strategic decision for many, not a sign of failure. And interestingly, it's not just the young folks.
Oh.
We're seeing a noticeable trend among older Americans too. Baby boomers, people 55 plus.
Really? Downsizing, I guess.
Exactly. Selling the big family home, but instead of buying a smaller condo, they're choosing to rent nice modern apartments or smaller houses.
Why the shift for them?
Same reasons, often. They want to escape the mental load. No more worrying about the leaky faucet, the lawn care, the property tax hikes, the insane insurance bills. They want to unlock that equity tied up in the house.
To fund retirement.
Yes. Fun travel, hobbies, enjoy life without the anchor of home maintenance. They want freedom and flexibility too, just like the younger generation, maybe for different reasons. Less stress, more cash.
It really undercuts the idea that owning is the only path to a secure retirement. And it speaks to the emotional side too, that pressure to buy. Sometimes it's just keeping up with the Joneses, right, or what your parents expect.
Totally. FOMO, fear of missing out, is a powerful driver. Renting can be this huge sigh of relief. No more midnight anxiety about the water heater making a funny noise.
Okay, we've built a strong case for the wealth builder renter, but let's pump the brakes a bit. We need balance. We're not saying nobody should ever buy a house.
Absolutely not. That would be misleading. The renting is always superior. Argument has some big holes in it, especially when you factor in, well, human nature.
What's the biggest counter-argument then?
It's simple, really. Forced savings. For a lot of people, maybe most people, that monthly mortgage payment is the only way they consistently save and build equity. It's automatic.
You mean if they rent, they say they'll invest the difference, but life happens.
Precisely. The theory is great. Rent cheap, invest the savings. The reality, that savings often get spent. Dinner out, new car, vacations. It takes serious, consistent discipline to manually invest that money month after month, year after year. Most people just don't have that financial muscle.
So the house, even if it's not the best return, forces you to build net worth slowly but surely.
Yes, it mandates it. And let's be honest, for generations of American families, owning a home has been the primary way they've built wealth to pass on. It's undeniable. It's been the bedrock of middle-class wealth accumulation.
Okay, good point. What else? What about rising rents?
That's another big one. If you have a fixed-rate mortgage, your principal and interest payment stays the same for 30 years. Predictable. Renters, they're exposed to inflation. Landlords raise rents. The cost of shelter in the CPI, the owner's equivalent rent, it consistently goes up over time. Owning locks in your housing cost, mostly.
Mostly because taxes and insurance can still go up.
True, but the biggest chunk, P&I, is fixed. That provides stability. And then there's leverage.
Leverage. Using borrowed money to control a large asset.
Right. You put down, say, $100,000 on a $500,000 house. That's 5-to-1 leverage. If that house value goes up 10% to $550,000.
You've made $50,000 on your initial $100,000 investment. That's a 50% return on your cash.
Exactly. That kind of leverage is powerful. If prices go up, your gains are magnified. Of course, the flip side is true, too. If prices fall, your losses are magnified. But that potential for amplified gains is a major draw for buying, and it's very hard to replicate safely in the stock market for the average person.
Okay, so we've got hidden costs and opportunity costs pushing towards renting, but forced savings, inflation protection, and leverage pulling towards buying. That sounds complicated. What's the takeaway for someone listening right now trying to decide?
The biggest takeaway is it's deeply personal, and critically, it's hyper-localized. What makes sense in Omaha might be totally different than in Los Angeles or Miami.
You mentioned some data on cities.
Yeah, recent analyses show buying might be financially better than renting in only about 18 out of 50 major U.S. cities right now. Places maybe like Chicago or Detroit, where home prices haven't exploded quite as much relative to rents.
But in the majority, 32 out of 50.
In the majority of major metros, especially the big coastal cities and Sunbelt hotspots, renting is currently calculated as being cheaper. Sometimes significantly so.
Yeah.
You have to run the numbers for your specific area. Don't rely on national averages or what your parents did.
Is there a simple rule of thumb people can use? A quick sanity check?
There are two pretty good ones. First, the time horizon. If you don't plan to stay in that specific home for at least 5, maybe even 7 years, buying is probably riskier. Why? Because the transaction costs, closing costs when you buy, realtor commissions when you sell are so high, they can eat up any small equity gains if you move too soon.
Okay, 5 to 7 years minimum. What's the second rule?
This one's about affordability right now. Look at the total monthly cost of owning. Principal, interest, taxes, insurance, PITI, plus an estimate for maintenance, that 1% rule is a good start, plus any HOA fees. If that total number is more than, say, 28% of your gross monthly income, you're potentially heading into house poor territory.
28% of gross income for everything housing related.
Yeah, that's a traditional benchmark. Go much higher, and you might find you have the house, but no money left over for anything else. Savings, investing, emergencies, life. Renting might be the smarter financial choice in that scenario, preserving your cash flow.
That 28% rule feels like a really solid anchor point. So, summing it up, maybe the goal shouldn't be chasing the old American dream just because. Maybe it's about financial independence, right? Freedom. And that could come from buying or renting, depending on your situation and discipline.
Precisely. If you buy, you get the forced savings benefit. If you choose the freedom and potential lower monthly costs of renting, your mission is crystal clear. You must be disciplined.
Treat that saved money like it's sacred.
Absolutely. The down payment money you didn't spend, invest it. The difference each month between your rent and what PITI plus maintenance would have cost, invest it. Build that emergency fund first. 3 to 6 months of expenses, crucial. Then invest the rest consistently, probably in low-cost, diversified index funds or ETFs. If you rent and just spend the difference, then you're likely falling behind.
So it really boils down to discipline. The question isn't just, am I throwing money away on rent? It's, if I rent, will I actually capture those savings and make my money work harder than a house might?
That's the challenge. It requires real self-awareness. Can you resist the temptation to spend that extra cash flow?
Okay, so for everyone listening, think about your city, your income. Run that 28% rule for your local housing market. Would buying make you house poor right now?
And be honest with yourself. If you rent, do you have the plan and the willpower to consistently invest the difference? It's not a trick question. It's about finding the path that truly builds your wealth.
We really want to hear from you on this one. What's the situation like where you live? Does renting feel like the smarter move, or is buying still the goal? Let us know in the comments. And if this deep dive helped clarify things, maybe give you permission to ignore the pressure, hit that subscribe button because we've got more analyses coming up.